Peace. What's good, peoples? We back. Peace to the family in the house. I am DJ Cool Rod, Teacher Maria, A Beautiful Mind, Supreme Mash. Okay, that's what's up. He said listen to the 5% album while I clean up. Hey, that's a good motivational album right there. Yes, sir. Okay. We in the house. More positive information for the peoples. Shining light on the peoples. You know how I do. Peace tonight, nurse. Peace, queen. Make sure you click that like button upon entering. Brand Yakubian said the 5% album is underrated. Isn't it though? Isn't it though? Isn't that like seriously? Like, isn't that like a lightweight classic? Like a cult classic for people that really know? And should be considered in one of the greatest albums in the pantheon of Brand Nubian albums. Yeah, let's clap it up for that. Vic FM said, I'm playing PlayStation Call of Duty while I'm listening to the show. What up, Vic? Well, I actually have PlayStation 5 myself. I play PUBG. I don't really like Call of Duty. PUBG's more realistic. Has bullet drop and shit like that in the game. So, yeah, that's what I fuck with. Welcome back to the Godcast, y'all. I'm Lord Jamar. That was what you just saw on the screen was a link concerning what we're dealing with today. I got my brothers and sister from the Black August Summer Institute in the house. We're going to be talking to them. But first, like I said, make sure you click that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell and click all so you will be notified whenever we drop something new. Okay. So, a few weeks ago, I had my brother Dame Drummer on the show who has a film. You know, he's a talented artist, but he's also a filmmaker. He has a film called Black Daddy. I hope y'all have checked it out. He's out in Oakland, California. And during that broadcast, there was a brother in the chat who was, you know, very active, who was down with Dame. So after the show, he sends me a basically a clip of another brother that he deals with, that has a program where they deal with youth. They take youth for a few days, they teach them, and they bring them out to a farm and teach them martial arts and, you know, how to grow stuff. And it's real revolutionary, cultural, positive movement. And so I checked out the film. Another well put together film. It's shorter than Dame's. This one's about 16 minutes long. And right about now, I want to play about 5 minutes of the film. Now, I can see y'all in the lobby right now. Y'all can hear me, right, Tyson? You just shake your head, nod your head, right? So, first of all, is any of that music that I'm about to play like music that's like published music that I'm gonna like get copyrighted for? Just go yes or no. Like, are those like, okay, good. Because that's the type of shit that messes me up from being able to play stuff like this. It's better when the beats are original and stuff like that. so I don't have any companies coming at me. All right. So listen, I need, people have short attention spans these days, but I only want 5 minutes of your undivided attention. What's up, Karis Knopflin? I see you in the house. So yeah, 5 minutes, do the knowledge. And then I'm going to bring the people who are responsible for this. We're going to bring them on, talk to them, see what motivated this whole thing. But here we go.
Greetings, community. My name is Tyson Amir, and in the fall of 2021, Sister Zakiya of Racial Justice Now, in collaboration with Brotherly Love, reached out to me to kick off a new program with some youth that they were working with in the Silver Spring, Maryland area. Building on our past collaborations in community organizing and activism, we knew we wanted to create a program where the youth would be exposed to their history, culture, and tradition, especially revolutionary history. We wanted to integrate martial arts and self-defense training with all that historical content. These discussions led to the birth of what became the Black August Summer Institute. Black August Summer Institute was an opportunity for our young people to learn about their history, their culture, their tradition, to build community with each other. Greetings, community. My name is Tyson Amir. I'm the author of the books Black Boy Poems, the Black Boy Poems Curriculum, and I'm the founder and director of Freedom Soul Media Education Initiatives. And I am the architect of what we can call the Black August Summer Institute. This was a program that was inaugurated this year in the beginning of August with a group of 7 young brothers. 2 brothers from the East Coast, from the Silver Springs, Maryland area. And we have 5 young brothers from the Oakland, East Bay area, and brought these brothers together to give them a memorable, transformative, immersive experience. So Black August is tied to certain political and revolutionary figures within our tradition. We have George Jackson, and we have his younger brother, Jonathan Jackson. The full name for our program was the George and Jonathan Jackson Black August Summer Institute, because we wanted to uplift the tradition of our ancestors. 2 revolutionary figures, George Jackson, a political prisoner who was held unfairly and unjustly. His younger brother, Jonathan Jackson, who at the age of 17 made the decision to take matters into his own hands to try to liberate his brother and other comrades of his brother who were unfairly held in these prisons in the United States of America. And all of that history surrounding George and Jonathan Jackson was right here in the soil of the Bay Area. By any means necessary. And we're talking about self-defense. This society wants to be, your only response can be nonviolence. You should not know how to defend yourself. You can only respond by some type of protest or using your voice in some way. Those are great methods. If it'll work in accomplishing that goal, use those methods. But everybody should know how to defend themselves. You should be in control of your body and know how to use your body to protect yourself and to protect your family and to protect your community. We want to make sure that our community has that. And then we can talk about self-defense on multiple levels, but what we were bringing to our young people in this program was self-defense on the physical level, knowing how to use your body to protect and defend yourself. And in order to make sure that these young brothers who learned from this rich curriculum of martial arts and self-defense, I brought one of my brothers in who's a credible instructor in the discipline of Krav Maga and other martial arts disciplines as well, Coach Cannon. So Coach Cannon is an amazing instructor, and he was able to connect with these brothers right away. Day one, when we started, they met Coach Cannon. It was time to get busy. So he connected with each one of the brothers in the program and was able to assess their level and then give them instruction that allowed them to progress and progress rapidly So Coach Cannon, who represents Mud and Lotus, Baja, and you see me representing that right here because this is the school that I also train in as well. And I think that's another beautiful aspect of it. What we were asking the brothers to do was stuff that we do ourselves. With that, you get this intergenerational learning experience and you get a model of sustainability. These young brothers absorb this. They absorb this information and they made it a part of themselves. The way that they moved on day one is completely different on day 4. And that's power right there. That's freedom right there. And so for us, when it came to making sure that our young people were going to have a credible instructor who was going to be able to connect with our young people and deliver this instruction in a way that is necessary, Coach Cannon, Mud and Lotus, he did an amazing job.
They're working really hard. They're learning super fast.
All right. Wow. So I guess with no further ado, I'd like to welcome to the Godcast, I guess the creators and founders of Black August Summer Institute, as well as the brother that filmed it, put it together. So we have Tyson Amir, H.A. Jabbar, Zakia Sankara Jabbar, and AM1. Welcome them all to the Godcast right about now.
Peace. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for the invitation
Peace.
to the Godcast. We happy to be here, man.
Yeah, there be some weirdo shit. I don't know. Somebody said they heard some reverb when the shit was playing. I saw it like, I don't know, going out of sync sometimes. These platforms be wilding sometimes. I have no control over that. I do everything to make sure it's the best that it can be, but sometimes it wilds out. I hope everybody got the gist of what we were just trying to convey just now. I hope it was good. Okay, yes, people are saying beautiful work. Peace, comrades. So how are you? Tyson, let's start with you. How are you, brother?
Bro, I'm good, man. Really happy to be here. Excited about this opportunity to, break bread with you a little bit more about this work that we've been doing in the community, which is very intentional on our end in order to uplift, empower, educate, and prepare our community for any and every eventuality that comes. You know what I'm saying? But we want to make sure that our youth have that solid foundation. And I'm surrounded by some brothers and sisters over here who help make that happen. And, you know what I'm saying, as we talked about before, this is an ongoing process for us. So it's good for us to get a chance to share this more with the community, for them to see it, and then for them to figure out how they can support this effort as we move forward.
Right, definitely. I hope they're not trying to sabotage us right now. I'm hearing a little, when you're talking, like a little, I don't know, can't even explain it. Like, let me hear my brother H.A. Jabbar talk real quick. How are you, my brother? Peace.
Peace, God. Oh, man, I'm thankful, brother. How you feeling, man? Blessings to you for having us on your show. It's a great opportunity. Amazing program the brother Tyson put together. This is something dynamic for the babies, our future. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Oakland. Okay, so I'm hearing it when everybody talks. I don't know.
I don't hear it.
Okay, so maybe
do y'all hear it?
Hopefully it's just me that I'm hearing this. Tell me at home in the chat if y'all hear what I'm hearing. If not, it's fine. First of all, I love all the books in the background, brother. Those are not DVDs, right? Those are actual books, yes.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Yes, sir.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. Those what you have behind you are gonna, are turning into antiques and relics because the generation that we live in now, they're not really avid book readers, right? Like that. They'll go online and read a PDF, before they actually like pick up a physical book and turn the pages and smell it and all of that, yeah, that's the generation we're in. So this would be your wife, Zakia Sankara Jabbar, yes?
Yes, sir. We are husband and wife team running our nonprofit, which is Racial Justice Now. So business partners and partners in life. Um, and it's an honor. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here to talk a little bit more about this youth program. I'll just share just really quickly that we are on the East Coast. We're in the DMV region. For all of your listeners, we're over in Silver Spring, which is just suburban Washington, D.C.
Yes, I have
And
family out in Silver Spring. Shout out Rob Mel.
wow, okay,
Yeah. Shout out
awesome.
my cousin Anna.
Okay,
And
all right. Well, we wanna be in relationship with as many Black folks in this area as possible, so we can feel free to connect afterwards if you feel that's appropriate. But we started organizing with our young people, including our own son. So he's a part of that team that you saw of the young people, to ensure that, number one, they have the knowledge of self, but that they can travel, learn real live and in person about the history of the men, revolutionary Black men who fought for us so hard to be where we are today, and just to make sure that they have the tools and strategies they need as they enter manhood. So most of the young people that we're working with are 14 to 17. And just for us as parents, we want to make sure that our son, right, is as prepared as possible for the world that he will have to navigate as a Black man in America. That's really what this is about at the end of the day. So it's a week-long trip for our young boys that we brought from the East Coast. And we spent an entire week together. Hey, what's up, Southeast? Southeast. That's DC. um, and yeah, so that's what this is about. Tyson, I knew him from a previous partnership and relationship out in the Bay Area. We had met at a conference at Stanford University. Shout out to Mama Deborah Watkins over at a Bend. And I knew that if we were going to do this right, that it had to be with Brother Tyson. And he did not disappoint, as you all saw on the film. And I encourage your listeners to look at the full 16-minute film. It's really absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. I loved it. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. It was definitely inspiring. Just to see what you all do. I love the self-defense part of it. That's something that a lot of people want to shy away from. People here on my channel know that I do something called Rappers with Rifles, where we basically try to get people out there to learn how to train with firearms and learn about firearm safety, and and really just how to move, and rappers are some of the biggest proponents of guns and shit like that, but when you really get down to it, a lot of these rappers know nothing about guns and how to use them properly and clean them, and how to be tactical and all of that. So we're just trying to spread some of that type knowledge out there. And but this was, I was doing well. No, actually, kids were there too. We have children as young as 12 years old that be out there with us. Women be out there with us.
Necessary.
Very necessary. So yeah, I just feel like, these are all things that are in the tradition. And what I like about what you're doing is, it's like, yeah, I'd like your program to grow, but it also seems like the type of thing that, gives people a frame of reference of what they can do in their own community. And start with just a few, 7 children, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be 70 children. Some people want to think, oh, well, I want to, open a giant school and, and make no moves until they do that. Like, nah, we can start here and let it grow. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, so anyway, So another part of what I like about you, what you did in this documentary is that, again, it's well put together. See, just like, I'm always saying that it can't be conscious for conscious sake. It has to be done well. It has to be good. You can't be rapping just conscious shit, but it's not as dope as the negative shit. You see what I'm saying? Like they all have to be on par. Like, so visually and all of that, the way it was put together was great. And I believe my man who we're about to speak to now, AM1, is responsible for that. Yes.
Man, big thanks. Huge honor to be here. Shout out HA, shout out Zakia. As you can see, I wanted to really, honor what you guys put together. Of course, shout out to my brother Tyson. I really wanted to honor just the whole spirit of what we was doing with that and put my foot in that, you know what I mean? Put some stank on that, you know what I'm saying? Like we had to do it. It was only right. And, in honor of the youth, just everything, man. The youth is the future, right? So
you even coming in here right now with the ill lighting. Don't think I don't see what you're doing right now with your lighting.
It's what I do, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta flex a little bit.
Ill lighting, go to the little side lighting. I see you.
Because I'll be, active on YouTube a little bit too. So
yeah.
I gotta spend a little bit.
Looks good.
But yeah, man, this project is amazing. I mean, it's a huge honor. I've been working with Tyson for years, just really getting it in, building for our people, really coming at these different approaches as far as like self-defense, obviously building the whole level of consciousness, building that up. But, I'm a media guy and I approach media from the standpoint of self-defense, right? Because it's a weapon, right? Shout out to our brother Dame in the building.
Yes, sir.
Who made
Dame
this all
is in the
happen.
house. Peace, fam.
Drop Dame the link. It says send this to Lord Jamar if you can. He sent that ASAP, and here we are. So I gotta shout him out, and shout out to our other brother Anis. Deeper in the film, we're on a farm. Self-defense all the way around. The consciousness, how you feed yourself. We specifically did at a farm. Tyson will tell you more about that. But the media tip of it, the whole point of this, and then you as the big bro, the OG, helping us support the project and pushing this out, is that much more of where we build for ourselves and control our narrative, and we push that out to counter sort of the psychological warfare. So the whole get down is an act of defense and an act of really pushing our narrative overall. But y'all go ahead.
Right. And I think that's something that I brought up. I think I was talking to Tyson and I was saying how, this art form, different art forms, and especially the visual medium is a revolutionary tool. It's a revolutionary weapon. The reason why we thought that the Panthers and all of that was cool is because we saw images of them, how they were dressed, how they defiantly stood with, rifles on the steps of, the courthouse and all of that type of stuff. So that the images, the frame of reference is what's the revolutionary tool. So now if we're able to put this frame of, like, some people might have been like, damn, I didn't really think about that, so yeah, I could start me a little camp too, like, and that's how the different chapters of, the Panthers start, and then it started to spread like wildfire, you know what I mean? So we already know that there's a need for things like this in multiple cities around our country. And so, yes, this is like a revolutionary weapon, which is why I feel like, sometimes they try to sabotage us. Like right now, I'm telling you, something weird is going on with the audio that I've never heard ever before. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And some people
we alerted them with Black August.
Some people are hearing it, some people are not. You see, because don't think they don't have keywords now. They got keywords in these algorithms. Black August might just be one of them. So I don't know, but we're not gonna allow that to stop us. We're gonna keep it going, like how everybody's muting it, because when you mute and then only talk when you need to, it's just cutting back on whatever that weird audio. But some people are saying their audio is clean, so good. But I'm hearing something crazy. They're trying to maybe psychologically mess with my mind, but I'm not stopping the broadcast, damn it. We're gonna keep talking about this. So let's talk about Coach Cannon for a minute. He seems like I never met him, but he seems like somebody that I met. Like, he reminds me of instructors that I've dealt with, especially like at the Rappers with Rifles type thing. There's a brother, what's the brother's name? He has a company called Offshore Kinetics, Black owned security training firm or whatever. And Coach Cannon kind of reminds me of this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so tell me about, Krav Maga, because first of all, that's supposedly something that the Israeli military created.
Yeah, my husband told me about that. I didn't know that. As far as the raising military,
yeah. I mean, it's definitely a good fighting style as far as like for in the real world. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of martial arts that's just form. It's not really meant for actual combat. But Krav Maga is actually one of those disciplines where it's used in the real world, like to really do what you have to do.
Let me holler at that real quick, because I was out there just with Coach Cannon, like literally last week, training with him. So we was doing like knife fighting, like all kind of sparring training. So yeah, it's not point fighting. He kept drilling that in my mind, like, we're not doing rules. This is not point fighting. This is we fighting to fight to disable or worse, like off rip, and we're ready for anything. So it ain't about fighting for points or rules and all that. So yeah, no, it's big and definitely has ties to Israeli military, and it's definitely about military action, self-defense for real, not for sport. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and then on that too, right? To add to it, the way that Coach Cannon is my folks, but that's my brother for real. We've been rocking for years out here, and we're originally from the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? We're from San Jose, East Bay representative, also with that, San Francisco, just the entire Bay Area, and the culture that we come from is what you're talking about. It's that tradition. We had those references in the soil of the Bay. We got a whole bunch of elders that we can point to right now that came from revolutionary formations. You know what I'm saying? We got Black Panther elders. We got folks who was high-ranking officials in the Nation of Islam with the fruit of Islam, with self-defense. And so we have these examples around us that were tangible. And folks instilled that knowledge and that information in us, and we carried it on. And so Coach Cannon, he's somebody who, bro, like, this is just the frequency that he always been on. So aside from like his creative work, he's been somebody who, I know guns, I know weapons, and I know self-defense. He studies so many different art forms. And then for us, when it came to how do we want to bring this type of information to the community, and we rock as a unit, just like you see all of us on here, I knew that, let me come with the content. Let me make sure that they get this revolutionary history, they get this revolutionary context, and we put them in a revolutionary place during a revolutionary time. I know I said revolutionary a lot, but in each one of those things it's revolutionary history, revolutionary context, revolutionary place, and revolutionary time when we're talking about Black August. So we did that. And then to give them that knowledge and that information, we're saying, how can we put in the shortest period of time a knowledge of self-defense in the body of somebody in our community? So looking at all these different systems, I'm saying we can study all these different forms in that, or we can go to something that we can expedite it and make even more efficient for the context that we're going to find ourselves in, and make sure that our young people have access to that. And so that's why we selected Krav Maga as the base for it, but then we add other layers on top of it. There's some jujitsu in there. There's some kickboxing in there. There's some boxing. There's a mixture of all those things, but the foundation is Krav, because the theory from the Israeli experience is you take a person who's a citizen that doesn't know anything about combat, you train them for 2 weeks, and then after those 2 weeks, they're quote unquote combat ready. So using that same philosophy, we can take a young person or anybody in our community. You might not know how to throw a punch, you might not know how to defend, block, kick, whatever. But in a short period of time, we can give you a curriculum that's going to prepare you and give you more situational awareness, more physical awareness and confidence in your body, how to move. And if something pops off, you know how to disable, dismember if possible, and then extract yourself from the situation, because our goal is we need to live to fight another day, because we ain't out here just trying to sacrifice ourselves. We trying to live, and we're trying to live free. And so we embed all these other aspects into the core curriculum. But Krav was chosen intentionally because it's a martial discipline that we know can be learned. The fundamentals can be learned in a short period of time. And then if you are able to apply that, you got something that you're working with that's solid.
It's so funny that like the Israelis like have become masters of like warfare. They've become masters of like warfare. Did you know that they're the ones that they invented the Glock? They have a lot of like I know a company called Agilite that they make these great plate carriers and shit like that. They're like really like innovative, and yeah, these guys are really like into war. So Krav Maga goes right along with their whole line of thinking. Tell me about Mud and Lotus. What is Mud and Lotus?
Mud and Lotus is the school that Coach Cannon has put together. But then another piece to add to it too, so you know like how intentional we are. Most of the law enforcement agencies here in the United States are being trained by Krav instructors. So we need to know what the folks around us know, and we need to know that better. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about that in another way, but we already know that there's somebody messing with the frequency right now. So we gonna speak to it in language like that. But we need to know what they know, but better.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that part. So Mud and Lotus is I know Coach Cannon from years ago, bro. We've been doing music, and that's why it's an honor to be on here with you, because, bro, your music fed us. The culture that you were imparting, the knowledge and the information and the understanding that y'all was imparting fed us and became part of our foundation. And so he dipped from Cali to Mexico because he's like, bro, I can't be a part of this no more. I can't be paying taxes to this imperialist colonial Coach Cannon.
Oh,
so
nice.
his home base now is in Baja, California. So that's how we get Mud and Lotus Baja. So he dipped from the States. I ain't trying to do this. I ain't trying to be a part of this no more. I'm trying to build something else that's independent for us, that's free. So he settled down there and has been building up the infrastructure for what eventually became known as Mud and Lotus Baja. So there's the training that happens there. So folks can go down there, do these retreats, get the Krav training. But then there's other aspects, because we ain't just out here trying to be folks who are on some war path. We're lovers and we fighters, you feel me? And we community folks and we parents and we all these other things. And so through the Mud and Lotus Baja, you can get breath training, you get yoga work, you can just get a retreat, bro, get a reprieve from this madness that's out there, and then also get valuable information to help build you up. And so Coach Cannon, he's the director of Mud and Lotus Baja. Peep them out, hit them up on Instagram, go online, see what they got going on. They got a new retreat coming up, I think in April. Sign up for that, go out there and get this life-changing experience. And so we wanted to do that and just make sure that we can bring that to the community as much as possible, and then tailor it to the experience of our young folks, and then give them that revolutionary history, culture, and tradition.
What would be the cost associated with something like this, like per student, per child, or whatever? I don't like calling them kids, because kids are baby goats and those are to send to the slaughter. So we should stop calling our children kids. We're not sacrificing our children. But what would the cost? What's the cost on average per child, would you say?
This is a kid. You got that?
Well, I think last year, I can't remember, per child, but I believe, to run the entire program for the week, and we can break it down.
And this is a 4-day program, yes?
5.
5, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so that includes travel. Of course, we have to house them, feed them every single day, all of that. I believe it was around $60,000, because, we had all of the, different consultants, that we worked with, the different businesses, Everybody Black, of course, supporting Everybody Black. So that was the main, the I believe the full cost for the full week.
And so how is that financed? Do the parents pay a portion of that? Does that work?
No, we were able to provide this free of charge to parents. That's something that's a value for us at Racial Justice Now, because we work with young people and their families who would not be able to afford an experience like this. In fact, the young people that we work with, our entire youth group, we actually pay them. They get a stipend from us.
Wow.
To, their average week is three times a week. We're engaged with them in actual, programming. So they head out to Baltimore weekly on Wednesdays, with FOI out there. And then we also have just regular programming with them twice a week with a brother that's providing them knowledge of self and other types of tools that they need in terms of manhood training. But the Black August Summer Institute happens annually. This is our goal. We're annually. So we basically raise money to do it. And last year we raised money from a foundation that could take care of it. This year we're fundraising again. We're looking at our colleagues in the foundations, but we're also happy to accept support from folks in our community because honestly, we we really need Black folks to be supported. This type of revolutionary program, we really need Black folks, just our community in general, to be supporting things like that because we have to get very creative when we're raising money from foundations to support these types of programs. And that's just a fact.
Tell me about you said your organization is Racial Justice.
Racial Justice Now. Yeah, we were founded.
Now. Tell me about what does racial justice mean to you? What is racial justice?
Well,
and how is it attained?
Absolutely. So in 2011, we were actually founded out of my experience with my son, who was 3 years old at the time. He was being identified in preschool by his teachers and as an issue and being pushed out, out of the classroom. So I don't know if folks are familiar with the preschool to prison pipeline and what that looks like, for Black children and Black boys in particular. But I'll give you a really sad statistic, quite honestly. Preschool in this country is not guaranteed. So most of the time, parents have to pay for it. It's mostly given by private institutions, but some public schools also have preschool, just to sort of get that education out the way for the listeners. Preschool, Black boys, this is just an article in the Scientific American just this year, January 23rd of this year in the Scientific American. Out of all of the preschools in this country last year, 50% of the kids who were expelled and kicked out of preschool, 50% Black boys. So what that means is that our children are being turned off from education at 3, 4, and 5 years old. So like literally getting them ready to be in somebody's private prison. And so that's the type of work that we have been doing since 2011 to disrupt that. And so we do a lot of policy, advocacy, and organizing. And we have recently added in political education for our families. We work with parents. And now, obviously, we're working with the young people themselves so that they have a knowledge of self in terms of the grand scheme of things, of just how things work in this country, so that we're making sure that they have all of the tools that they need to be prepared to stay out of folks' prison, period.
Question to the men on the panel. In a time where it seems like manhood is being attacked, and the very definition of what it is to be a man or a woman is being questioned and all that. How important do you think a program like this is in order to define manhood roles and what it is to be a man and camaraderie amongst men?
Oh man, that's a beautiful question. I appreciate you bringing that up because what you said is exactly right. I was just looking at social media in our county, and a local councilman was celebrating inclusion of a drag queens at the public library. Celebrating this type of inclusion. And so for brother, I said brother, right? Meaning male, brother Tyson, brought together boys and girls, and everybody was welcome. But in a location like this, you understand the knowledge of self, and you learn the knowledge of self, and you get to be, as you said, practice the camaraderie of those that enjoy being who they are, that enjoy learning that Black is beautiful, learning the rich history, heritage, and culture of our own, and how our specific roles in the movement, so the action involved in our roles and how we play, like you said, rappers with rifles, because both sides have a role to play. And there's no middle lane, there's no made up lane that we have to make, because we can look at our history and see that the things that they're talking about today was not present then, you know. But I also wanted to bring up, brother Lord Jamar, that one thing that we don't talk about in context of this great program that Brother Tyson put together was this opportunity for young people to do things that they don't typically do. So I heard somebody say, I'm from Southeast. Young brother from Southeast came with his parents are from Southeast. He's never rode on a plane before. He's never spent a night in a hotel for a week. He's never been to a place in Oakland, California, where they have a different slang, a different swag, a different walk, where people fish for their dinner. Did you know they did that in the Bay? I didn't know it. You know what I mean? And so he got a chance to hit the In-N-Out burger. He heard about it, but now he got to go in person. You know, he got to hit the Bay Bridge. He's seen it on TV, but now we walking across it. You know, so it's one thing to see something in a book, to get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a book, but it's another thing to experience it, to provide that understanding, to get up under it, to stand up under what you read, and then to be able to manipulate it for yourself. You know, so all of those things are a rich experience, and those memories, you can't replace those memories. You know, so to show that you care, to say that you care, are two different things. You know, to say that you have love for your young people, and then to pay that fare, all this is for free. He said we went out and shopped for memorabilia for the young man to be able to bring some things home to his parents, and he didn't have to pay for it. That was covered. You know, so this rich experience. Then we got to go to Marcus Bookstore, Black Bookstore. We go into a Black bookstore where they used to hide the Black Panthers that were running from their enemies. They used to hide them up under the different locations. I don't want to tell all the stories, but you know, again, this rich culture. We got to go to the place where they make bean pies. You know, have Black businesses, manufacturing. You know what I mean? So again, the rich experience. You can't replace experience. I mean, like I said, it's one thing to see it in a book, but it's another thing to get on that scooter. You know, we ride the scooters you see downtown in all the different cities. We rode them in DC, but it's another thing to ride them in the city you've never been in, Oakland. Now we out West Coast and we ride the scooter, and then there's a place we can't go anymore because it's water. You know, we seen the Potomac River, but now we on the Bay Bridge.
A man said AM1 looked like he in a commercial.
Hey, and then to add to what was being said about especially
yes,
about
I was going to ask, can we add about the men's roles? Anybody wanted to add on to that?
On bringing it especially back to the context of being here in the Bay and then being here in Oakland, like we intentionally did the program here because of the revolutionary soil that we got right here. Huey P. Newton, co-founder of the Black Panther Party, he said one of the many things that he said that was extremely on point. He said that I don't expect the white media to create positive Black male images. You know what I'm saying? So when we allow other folk to try to tell our story, they're going to tell it in all these ways. And for us as a people, and then whoever's listening, we should never be ashamed of any aspect of our history and our culture and our tradition. To have folks now out here trying to get us to be on some forsake what men have done in our historical tradition, like we shouldn't aspire to learn about and try to carry that stuff on, just like we shouldn't aspire to learn about what powerful sisters have done in our tradition. Bro, forget that. That's some imperial colonial madness. We ain't rocking with that. We know who we are. We know the tradition that we come from. And that's why it's so important for those examples to be present in our community, for our young brothers to see it, for our young sisters to see it, for our young folks, however they identify themselves, to see who we are as a people. Don't allow somebody else to try to define who you are and who your history is and what your tradition is. We don't play that game. You feel me? We don't rock that way. And then not only that, like when we look at our history, especially a lot of the history that we gave them was Black Panther history. So the Black Panther Party, and this ain't like trying to contribute to the way that they had that conversation, but the Black Panther Party was focused on the freedom and the liberation of all oppressed peoples. When they looked at how the gay community was being treated systematically, they recognized that this is a community that also needs to be free and needs to be liberated from their oppression, but it needs to be tied to this larger understanding of what freedom and liberation for all people is. You know what I'm saying? It's not agenda or community or personality politic. We don't rock that way. We want
that's
the
where
people
I
to
draw
be
a
free.
line. Like, I'm not gonna allow those two things to, like, that's a whole different thing. Like, I don't want their fucking so-called struggle to be trying to intertwine with mine. Those people
not
have
the
ridden
same.
on our backs for since they started their shit, and they got way more accoutrements and all kind of satisfaction for their way of life than we do. So I don't even, if the Panthers, is that something that they looked at,
it's an important part, right? Nah, I mean, I hear that, but I challenge that as well, because when you're saying freedom and liberation of all people, and it's the way that conversation happens now.
Liberation of Black people first. That's what
I
I'm
got you,
saying.
right? So then even add into that. So in the evolutionary, like, political thought of the party and where they started, when they first started, they identified as Black nationalists. Then they became internationalists, and then they became intercommunalists. And this is one of the great additions that Huey P. Newton had as a theorist, because he was a chief theoretician of the Black Panther Party. He said, we all just communities all throughout the world. You feel me? These multinational corporations and governments, they don't care about who you are, what flag you have. And then it's the other piece too, is like, say Black people theoretically find their way to be free in the United States of America or wherever we are in the Western Hemisphere. You still gonna have Black folks in other parts of the world who are experiencing oppression, systematic discrimination. And so how do we truly get free? It's going to require us to ally with other communities, which was part of the example of the Black Panther Party. They had the Rainbow Coalition. They was rocking with the Brown Berets. And it wasn't that agenda is more important than their agenda, but to accomplish that goal, it's going to require us to be strategic with who we partner with. You feel me? So
right, but look how those
a
people
different
that you
way of having that.
with, not to cut you off, but look how the people that you wanted to partner with actually hijacked the Rainbow Coalition. Remember when Jesse Jackson and all that was talking about Rainbow Coalition?
He wasn't part of the Rainbow Coalition.
Okay, but he tried to make his Rainbow Coalition too, that was supposed to be about Black people and all that type of shit. Guess who hijacked the rainbow? Okay, when we grew up, the rainbow was for little kids and shit like that. They stole the rainbow from the babies. Okay, like these rainbow jacking fools. And now when you think of a rainbow, you think of those people. You don't think about Black Panthers and all of that type of shit. Although the Black Panthers might have been the ones that originally was the stronger community thing, pulled these weaker ones in, and only for them to usurp the whole shit. Like,
let me holler at that.
We got to be careful about.
There's a history of white liberals doing that. Malcolm actually talked about that. Malcolm talked about that a lot. And, he's my Jagna in a lot of ways in terms of how we view this. And I think in terms of even allyship, that has to be from a place of power. And it has to be very strategic. In most cases, probably temporary. But go ahead.
One of the biggest tools about that, to tie together the original discussion about males, men, masculinity, and from my perspective, understanding the media engine, unlimited budget to pump ideas and concepts in your mind. They will take anything we build as a people and try to weaponize it against us. And that's totally unacceptable. So that's the point of a project like Black August and us building it like this. And I take pride in myself of like, I rep for my people. Tough. Even, you know what I mean? Like, I go hard. So anything I build out is going to come from that soul, that hip hop, that overall energy of our people really seeking freedom, liberation, while also staying conscious of the fact that these people will take anything and weaponize it and try to flip it and merge our struggle with whatever else. And yes, that point about Malcolm X, what the liberals will do and how they'll flip the table over and take whatever we're doing and flip it back and weaponize it against us. That's a big deal, because we see masculinity is under attack, male leadership is under attack, and this actually is bigger than the Black community, truth be told. But if we just stay focused on right now what we're doing, we're commandeering, taking back over control of our image for real. Like, I'm a hip hop dude. I used to rap, make beats. Tyson, that's where we come from. We hip hop heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up listening to Brand Nubian and the likes of which, you know what I mean? So it's like that level of consciousness is in me and it can never be taken from me. And now building this career, doing this visual media work, it's like, oh, I get it. One of the biggest tools that they're using against us is psychological warfare. Let me flip that back on them. And to do that, we got to understand what's being waged against us and how they'll even take something as beautiful as the Panther saying, well, let's look at the struggles of all these people because we do have common enemies. They'll even weaponize that. So that's a slippery slope. So after we move into the future, we got to make sure that we're really taking inventory of what they'll use against us and make sure we stand locked in and operate as men, as the true defenders, to where we leave no stone unturned thinking about how these people flip this shit against us. It's not happening. And we standing on that. Go ahead, Joe.
No, just a good conversation to have. Because yeah, we definitely living in crazy times. And I mean, I could see the idealist type of yeah, we want to help all struggling people, but where does that start and where does that end? You see what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of people struggling in all different kinds of manners. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's murderers that want to kill more people. Like, they're struggling to be a murderer. You're not letting them do it. You know what I mean? Like, do we help them too? Like there's pedophiles out here who are struggling to be a pedophile. Y'all are in the way of their pedophilia. We can't help everybody. We can't help all communities. We got to worry about ourselves first, bro. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not fucking with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not fucking with that. That's part of what they're trying to use to weaponize against us. And although it seems like a good gesture and honorable and all of that, we can't work with everybody, and we should learn from the past and you know what I mean? We can't always do what was done in the past. You know what I mean? Everything that all of these organizations, Panthers, the Nation of Islam, the 5%, everybody, nobody was 100% right in the way that we was moving back then. We got to take the best from all of these organizations and move forward. Now, we can't a lot of times we'll look at what they did and want to emulate everything that they did. Well, that's how they did it back then. Yeah, that was also back in the 60s. And you know what I mean? Like you got to update your approach and your philosophy sometimes. So
real quick, Tyson, I know you're getting in there, but I was going to say, I was having this conversation with somebody early this week. I think our entire approach has to change. Well, not the entire approach, but like we're competing with all types of distractions now, Brother Lord. I mean, you know what I mean? That our folks were not competing with in the 40s, 50s, and even the 60s. We competing with music in a way that has been weaponized. I mean, I know we could probably have a whole daggone session on the weaponization of even hip hop, right? The weaponization of our movies, right, against our children, against our communities and things like that. And now we got distractions of social media, all these digital tools. Like, man,
those things were actually on our side back then. We actually had music that helped to feed the revolutionary spirit.
You go.
We actually had movies that helped to feed that spirit, even though there's some of those blaxploitation, man, they was giving it to the man. You see what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, they was giving it to the man. And that was inspirational to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like they mixed the negative shit in there too. But there was a lot of good, good movies made at that time. Spook That Sat by the Door and shit like that. And so, yeah, we don't even have that type of cultural support like we had back then.
To your point on black manhood and survival, Lord Jamar, man, Oakland, I said when I was there, it was a real challenge to our own humanity. Because we know if any city we go in throughout America, the homeless population is mostly black men. And Oakland has an extremely high population. You know what I'm saying? I had a little situation. I won't go into all the detail, but just going to get the young people some food. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a brother in a wheelchair, you know what I'm saying, laying on the ground, fell out his wheelchair. You know what I mean? It's a extreme poverty, but anywhere you go, again, who are we aligning with, and how do we survive? How does Black manhood build into that? You know, we find in every city across America, the main population of homelessness is Black men. And how does it change? It changes through education. A part of it is through education. A part is through developing our own systems. A part of it is like programs like our brother Tyson put together this Summer Institute. And I appreciated your point that this can be duplicated in other cities. Absolutely.
Facts.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because you know,
go ahead. My bad.
No, you go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
All right.
Well, I was just gonna say y'all touch 7 lives. Y'all touch 7 children. You know what I mean? And now hopefully this will go out and you touch more people and plant the seed of something like this. And you know, if we got to go 7 at a time, so be it. Like, you know what I mean? But this could spring up in many different places. But hopefully next year, y'all have 14,
this year, August
this year coming up. Y'all have 14 kids or something like that. Or pardon me, children, not kids. Y'all have 14 children. And then the year after that, we keep exponentially by 7. You see, that would be some dope shit right there. Let's talk about did you want to say something real quick? Because I want to talk about you have a screening coming up and there's a link in the description.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be real quick because this is part of the screening and part of the curriculum. Like one of the things that we emphasize is making sure that, as we were talking about, so much of our history, even our struggles, our revolutionary movements has been appropriated, whitewashed, and then fed back to us. Like we gotta be able to see who we are for ourselves. And as you were saying, so we can analyze what we did, what worked for that time and place, what's going to work for now. As we talked about, we chose CRA for very specific reasons, but we got to know our history. You feel me? And it's not to do it in a romanticized way. So when I was trying to break down some of the revolutionary philosophy of the Panthers and how they move, what's also essential in that, and something that we've embedded into our program, and it's part of this Black manhood and masculinity, not that men are more important than women. Our community is our community. We need everybody, but the role of men is extremely important. The party understood that they were the vanguard. They referred to themselves as that way. So in any relationship that they had with any other community outside of themselves, they took the lead. And
what is the definition of the vanguard for those that don't know?
Off top. So they describe themselves as the revolutionary vanguard, meaning that they were the tip of the spear. They were the ones who were leading the struggle, the revolutionary attack. Their philosophy, their theory, their agenda was the one that was setting the agenda that all other communities were following. That's very different than the way that the conversation happens now. So it's important for us to understand that, learn from that, analyze. Okay, the 60s is different than 2023. You feel me? It's different than 2024. We dealing with a new reality. But if some of that stuff worked then and still works now, we push on that. If it don't, then we need to figure out how we use the resources that we have amongst us right now in order to push this agenda of our people being free. And they get an opportunity to learn that, because we know that ain't in nobody's curriculum. You feel me? We know that ain't on social media. They ain't gonna get that elsewhere. They got to get that from us. And when we talked about this before, it's such an important reference. So if people want to tap in with us and support our project and get their young people connected to it and get their community connected to it, we got you. If y'all want to build something else like this somewhere else, tap in. Let's figure out how to support y'all, find resources so that could be built up, because this needs to be happening in every community that we got all across this country and beyond.
I just want to say we moved past the sound issue somehow. Sounds great on my end now. No more of that whatever was going crazy. Like there was robotic noises I was hearing. Like it was crazy for a second. But yeah, we fought through it, and see, that's what happens when you
look, Jamar, check it out. If you check out the messages sent you for new people, because I see the numbers on our stream been coming up. So just to give context back to the film itself, if jump in back into the film for a couple of minutes, but if you can try to land around 12 minutes into it, because there's some gems right there.
You said 12 minutes into the show?
Yeah,
I mean into the film.
Right. I know it's hard.
Hang on. Okay, yeah, we might could do that.
But anywhere you land more towards the end, but just to give some people some more context of what we're talking about.
Okay.
Because we really want to drive home the point of seeing the youth get busy in Oakland, and then we kind of go to Lake Merritt and we show some of the historical elements where we took the young guys around. So we want to really make sure we showing the folks what we did, because it's super important what we build here, what Tyson and Zakiya put together for these youth, and to show how we can replicate that out.
All right. Yeah. You know what? All right. Let's show a little more of the film. If you're just joining us, we're with the founders of the Black August Summer Institute. And they made a film about a curriculum that they have. It's a 5-day program where they take some teenage boys, young men, and they bring them out onto a farm and they teach them self-defense. They teach them about, meditation, yoga, self-sustainability, how to grow and garden. We do gardening and stuff. Yes. Yeah. All of that, you know what I mean? All of that positive stuff. They take them on revolutionary landmarks, places that were very, important in Panther history and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a great program that if you can get your youth down with their program, that's great. But this is also the kind of program that you can start in your own area with your own community and replicate the same thing. So we showed a little bit, like 5 minutes of the movie earlier. We're going to show a little bit more now towards the end. So hang on, let me get this going.
Jamar, while you do that, let me give a shout out to my homie Soundtrack, up and coming producer, future legend from the Bay Area. He relaced the whole soundtrack of this piece from my guy Soundtrack. So definitely make sure y'all at Soundtrack, SNDTRAK. Lord Jamar, I don't know if you heard about Soundtrack yet, but as a hip hop dude, hip hop legend, you got to know about Soundtrack. All the OG heads to the new guys are loving Soundtrack.
Soundtrack is dope. I've heard all these beats. That's why I was wondering, are they, were they published where a record company's gonna be coming at me? Because
no. Soundtrack's the homie. He slid me folders, so those are all official joints.
Dope. Well, shout out to Soundtrack. Everything on here just sounds like it. It's where it should be. This is again very well put together project. Let's check out a little bit more now of the Black August Summer Institute film.
The history of just Black revolutionary organizations, and just immerse our young people in their history, something that they can be proud of, something that they certainly won't learn in school and won't hear positive things about from the sort of mainstream apparatus here in the United States.
The program happened because of Sister Zakiya, her desire to create a space for young brothers who were connected to her son, Amir. She recognized what I think a lot of us have recognized when we're looking at what our young people are being exposed to. They're not being taught about their history, their culture, and their tradition. As a result, they might have different connections with school or the institutions that are around them that are supposed to be providing them structure and providing them with education and instruction. And so she was like, this ain't happening, right? I need to do something. She made the commitment, dedicated time, energy, found resources. She reached out to me. And one of the things that we knew we wanted to do for these brothers was have them have this experience of coming to the Bay Area in August to engage in this immersive training. So she made it happen. We thought about it. We planned it out. We made it happen. And then to see the impact of it in the lives of these young brothers and then in the lives of our community, it was beautiful. And it's something that needs to be happening day in, day out, again and again in communities all throughout this country and beyond, wherever our people are at. We need to make sure that our young people are exposed to a knowledge of themselves, a knowledge of self-defense, and any other principles and resources that they need in order to survive and thrive for themselves, for their family, and for their community. One of the things that came up immediately once we were wrapping up on day 4 was, when are we doing this again? Because they felt the value in what we did, and they wanted to make sure that this wasn't something that was just a once in a lifetime thing for them. And so we said, of course, we're gonna do this again for y'all. This should be a reality for all of our young people everywhere they're at. But we need y'all. Whether that's if you have financial resources that you can commit to projects like this, or it's time and energy, or it's some other type of resource that you have, we need that. This is what we need for our community to be healthy, well, and free. It's going to take us in order to support and serve us.
We must love each other.
Yeah.
Say it again. We must love each other.
Black August Summer Institute. Dope shit, y'all. Love it, love it, love it, love it. What's this link in the description? You got a screening coming up or something like that?
Yeah, right on. Appreciate that. So yeah, so for folks that want to join a full community screening, we got something scheduled for Thursday, March 2nd, East Coast time, 8 p.m. West Coast time, 5 p.m. Hop on that. You'll get a chance to see the film with us. We'll have some of the young brothers a part of this screening as well. So if you want, you can ask them some questions, just learn more about the project, what we got going on, and let's be in community. So this can be something that's happening in every single community where our people are at all throughout the year. But if not, then tap in with us so they can get this in Black August. You feel me? Because we need that. So that's what's in the chat. And then if folks want, and Sister Zakia, if you cool with it, you know what I'm saying? Since people have been rocking, if they like anxious and they want to see it right now, we can slide them the YouTube link so they can get the advanced screening so they can just peep it out. You know what I'm saying? We want the community to really see it. It ain't like it's got to be a secret. But if y'all want to wait and be a part of the community piece where the young folks is going to be there and everybody's going to be there and we can talk about it, sign up, go hit that Eventbrite link. We'll be there rocking on March 2nd. But if you want to get it now,
I'm going to tell you now, you know, the reason why I wanted us to come on at this particular time was so that we can get the biggest audience as possible. So, you know, you have people right now that are in here that are like in London, people that are in, you know, Africa. They're not going to be able to make it to the screening, unfortunately. But maybe, you know, they would like to see it as well, because this is something you can do anywhere, you know what I mean, in the world, wherever we exist, and we're everywhere in this world. I'm
gonna drop the chat right now. Yep.
So yeah, if you give me the link or something, I will I can put that in the description.
Yes, in the chat
when we get off of here. And yeah, I see it. And so people can check it out. And oh no, I think I can do it now, actually.
And much love and respect and shout out to everybody wherever y'all tuning in. We appreciate that, and we hope that you see the value in this program that we put together. And a little bit of context on that: Sister Zakia, her and I, we know each other from a couple years back, just doing some community organizing work. And she was telling me about this work that they were doing with young brothers in Silver Spring. And she was like, "Hey, we want to use your book, and we would like to use your curriculum." So then when we started talking about that, we were like, well, we can add levels to this experience for those brothers. And one of the things that we felt would be extremely important is to get them to come here to the Bay and be immersed in this history, this culture and tradition. We keep talking about this farm. The farm that we had the program on is a Black-owned farm. The sister who runs the farm, her name is Maya. It's called Soulflower Farm. She feeds her family off of 90% of what is grown on the farm. She makes medicine, she makes herbal treatments, like all that stuff there. So we talking about freedom and liberation. We took them to a land that our people own. We took them to folks who know how to cultivate the earth in order to sustain ourselves, so we ain't dependent on somebody else's water system or they food that they making. You know what I'm saying? So we did that, and then built them up mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, with the history of themselves, their community, their culture, their tradition, revolutionary history, which is something that we know they're afraid of, us learning and embodying that, and then gave them that solid foundation and being able to protect themselves, protect their families, and protect their community, and how we organize together as a people. And building that as a formula that we're going to keep building up on. So we got levels to this curriculum. That was year 1. Year 2 going to be a whole nother experience. Year 3 going to be a whole nother experience. And this is something that we hope will be a revolutionary reality within our community and moving us closer to the freedom and the liberation of our people.
I think we're about to end it off on that note. You know, this is what I'm about, people. Like shit just like this. You know what I mean? Like, these are the real celebrities, is people that's out here really doing the work, you know, to make positive change in our communities, you know. So salute, hats off to y'all. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, I'm definitely here to support. And yeah, it would have been nice to maybe have a little testimony from some of the young men.
They were at school.
If you watch the film, as they should be, if you watch the film, you'll definitely see testimonials, especially at the end. You'll see, you know, the enthusiasm and just the whole, you know, just a spark in their eyes that you can see happen from, you know, being a part of this experience, you know?
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for the platform. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been amazing, and really grateful for you leveraging your platform to share this with your viewers and your listeners. So thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
Absolutely. So I'm going to leave this, you know, this episode up. This is not going to be one of those chop up episodes. I'm going to just leave it up so y'all can come back and check out the episode as much as y'all want and blah, 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 blah. But thank everyone here: Tyson Amir, H.A. Jabbar, AM1, Zakia Sankara Jabbar, collectively the Black August Summer Institute.
Thank you, brother.
And Coach Cannon as well. And then one last piece.
Shout out to Coach Cannon.
Because he tuned in on it. But one last piece too to say, like, as part of the approach, what we're trying to bring to the young people, we're doing ourselves. And I think that's an important piece, because we could talk about it, but you got to do it. And so we training, we're building community, we're applying these same principles that we trying to bring to the youth. And it's important for them to be able to see it in us. Instead of we trying to tell you how to do better than what we did, we trying to do this exact same thing, so y'all can see that it's that much more important to us. I mean, I think that's another important element to bring to it for the community, for them to hear. We got to be about it, y'all, because it's going to take us in order to do this real work of freedom making in our community.
Absolutely.
Once again, shout out to the brother Dame for linking it up, and shout out to my guy Soundtrack, and then Anthony, Rashada Vision, again, Coach Cannon, and Maya at Soulflower Farms. Just really want to make sure we shout out everybody involved in this thing, and then of course to the young brothers that we had come out and experience the whole thing. Huge honor. I'm so glad you was able to check it out. Big salute to Lord Jamar, platform, everybody involved. The whole thing is a huge honor and a blessing to be able to do this kind of media work, man, built for our people.
I'm not used to people's mic sounding as good as mine, man. Like, your setup's a little too professional, man. Like, getting on my nerves right now. Like, your mic just sounds all crisp and shit. Like, this is my show, buddy. Like, you know, I'm the one with the crisp mic. You come in here with this background and the lighting and crisp ass mics. This guy over here, man. Anyway. Thank y'all for coming through, man. I appreciate y'all. Much love. And yeah, let's just, you know, when you do the next one, come on back and let's see the highlights from that. All right.
Much appreciated.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yes,
Peace,
sir.
For sure.
Peace.
Much respect.
Peace.
All right. Another great one. I love highlighting, positive people doing positive things that you might not be up on, Once again, thanks to my man Dame Drummer for putting this on my radar. And I hope y'all enjoy what you see. I can't put the link to the YouTube thing right now while the show is going on. So as soon as I end this, I'll be able to put that link in the description, blah, 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 blah. So once again, I appreciate y'all coming through. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell and click all. Once again, for the Godcast, I am Lord Jamar. I'll be back again. I don't know, tomorrow or Thursday, maybe. I'll see how I feel. One love. Peace.